Well, I knew our next guest back when. Melinda and I are old friends when food was our life. And we have both pivoted in such interesting ways. Obviously, we never stopped eating. We never stopped enjoying food for sure. But Melinda now has over 1 million followers, probably over 1.5 million followers across her platforms, maybe close to 2 at this point. You know, every single day, I can't keep track of her virality and success. And she has just become such a voice of Jewish education. So Melinda, I'm thrilled to have you here. It's so fun to meet in this context, and love you so much. I have such an interesting question that's uniquely for you. You know, when we were back doing, food and kosher food, obviously we knew where our audience was, Jewish people who need to eat kosher. Now, with your advocacy for just Judaism and education, and obviously Israel, you have a huge range of followers, tons of non-Jews. Why do you think the world is so interesting in Jewish life and what you have to say?
Well, isn't it nice to see it that so many people are interested in Judaism and in Israel, by the way, because it's not just Judaism. As long as I've been sharing about Judaism on TikTok, which has been over 4 years now, and with a following over 1 million, it's not people who are coming to hate. The people who follow me follow because they want to know more. There's always hate. It's there. We'll discuss that too. But the people who follow me, they're curious. They've been curious. Like when I first started on TikTok, I lived in this bubble where I thought everybody knew what kosher was and what Shabbos was, not Shabbos Kestemel. We all know him too, but the Shabbos that we celebrate every weekend. And there's this, some people were like, wait, what is that? I used to say Sabbath because I figured people didn't know what Shabbos was. And people were like, what's kosher? I still get that question every day. I made it like a pin on my platform so people could ask that question, what is kosher? And because of that, I started to answer these questions just every single day. It became my thing. And with it came more and more people who wanted to know all these interesting things about living a Jewish life. And specifically for me, it's living an Orthodox Jewish life in a way that people don't necessarily see Orthodox, right? Because I'm not like what they see in the movies. So they just became really curious. And since I started on my platform, I have always been in love with Israel and always been an open Zionist. So every year on Israel's birthday, I'm sharing facts about Israel, and I'm always sharing, on trips that I've gone on, because I went on many trips, thank God, in my life to Israel, and have always shared that as part of my platform. So if you're following me, you know that I love Israel. So there's never been a surprise to anybody when I'm talking about that. And there's always been hate, but more than the hate, there's always been people who want to know more. Let me tell you, when I go to Keep a Man, I can't even tell you how many views I get on that video every single time. And when I'm there, I go because I know how much people love to see our culture, and they love to see it in like a fun, vibrant way where it's somebody who's just very casually sharing about my Jewish life.
Yeah. Melinda, I didn't mean to suggest that you don't do Israel advocacy because that goes without saying. I mean, that's why we're here. But I wanted to just highlight the fact that you do so much for Jewish advocacy. And like you said, sharing the vibrancy of our life, and that it's interesting. Now that's also you have so much love, but an unfortunate side effect of having this virality that you have, having this many followers, having this wide of an audience has come with hate. I think one of the most painful things for me, and I'm going back, Linda, is when your son and your husband put on tefillin in the airport. You got national coverage for the hate that you received. And I'm sure it's only intensified now, of course, as you've spoken out more about Israel. Mm-hmm. How do you handle the hate?
So I have a lot of rules because I feel like in general, when you have any kind of platform, and I'm sure everybody else who's been sharing, and you have it too, Jamie, I have certain rules that help me keep going so that I can be consistent through hate, because the hate's going to be there. And the more you grow, the more hate you get. So my number one rule is people who post hate, whether it's hateful comments or hateful videos, they themselves have something going on in their life. Whatever it is, I'm not going to assign that to them because it's not my business, but they clearly have something, because happy people don't post nasty comments. Mm-hmm. So I just leave it there. I know a lot of them are uneducated, because we know that for sure. And I do set myself some boundaries as well, because, oh my gosh, please, everyone needs to set some boundaries. But I just in general know that whether it's somebody commenting and saying my forehead is too big because they don't like what I'm posting about Judaism, or they post something about the war because I post about Israel, and I've been many times since October 7th, I just share it. It's naturally, like, I don't even consider myself an Israel advocate. I consider myself a Jewish advocate. And part of that is Israel. It's just a part of who we are. So it's there. And when people post hate, it fuels me up, by the way. So it actually makes me louder. And I have every year like a word of the year when the year starts, and mine this year was louder. And it didn't mean physically louder because I don't need to do that. It meant just making sure that my voice, not only does it not get shut down by their noise, but that I make sure that it fuels me up and it pumps me up. And it also helps me to help other people use their voices.
Amazing. Wow. Hi, Melinda. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Really, really exciting. I saw that you were just in Poland.
I was, yeah.
So I'm curious what motivated you to want to go, and maybe you could share with us, like, what was your biggest takeaway?
Oh boy. Well, I did get invited by the Poland Museum, which was one of those life-changing moments where I was like, you want me to come to Poland and share about it? Like, it's very emotional for me because it felt very special that asking me to come and be able to document the experience. And a huge part of that was stepping in the same spots as other people who have experienced things, the Holocaust, walking through the ghettos and seeing the bullet holes in the walls, and just really, we learn about all these things. I've learned about them my whole life, but never actually being in the same places as they are. And I'm going to compare it in a way to my love. One of my things that I love so much about Israel is every step you take, you are walking on Jewish history.
Yes.
And I felt that so much in my soul walking through Poland. And my family's from Warsaw. So I actually got to go visit the grave of my great-great-great-grandparents and put stones on their graves. And when was the last time anyone was able to put stones on their graves? And so being able to walk through, it felt like I have chills even sharing it. I felt like I was walking on history with my own feet and being a part of that. And especially with what's going on in the world right now and all of this hate, being able to share these videos, which I'm still sharing so many because there's so much, it's a way of helping open other people's eyes while my own eyes weren't being opened.
Amazing. I've been a few times. I brought trips with students. It's a very powerful experience. And in many ways, it's what people feel like it's an overwhelming experience and a sad experience, but in some ways it's an inspiring experience to know, first of all, what the life was like there before the Holocaust. Yep. And the stories of resistance, and resistance, I don't mean just physical resistance, spiritual resistance, so many amazing things. Okay, I wish we could talk all night, but we do, of course, we want to hear from you. Why have you joined Aish Ha'am? Why are you running in the election with us? I mean, I know the answer is obvious, but I want to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, why, when we asked you, because we came to you right away and you were enthusiastically excited to join, tell us why.
Well, first of all, the first part of it was just having another space where I can use my voice. Next level of being able to use my voice. I didn't know for so long that I had a voice that could impact other people the way that it has. So being able to take it to that next level, to on a global scale, being able to use my voice and alongside these people, like, come on. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. I've been so inspired. I've been watching since the beginning. This has been unbelievable. And I do want to say Rabbi Berg was my NCSY director, West Coast NCSY director. I don't know if we ever discussed that. So like, I feel like this is my family. And when I first started on my platform, and I've always I was raised religious and raised understanding things. But when I have questions that I want answered, because we don't all have the answers for everything, and I want to make videos for my platform where I don't know something, I turn to Aish. And I've always found that Aish has had this beautiful way of answering questions for everyone. And that's what's so cool about Aish, is that you're for every Jew. And that's a really important thing that we need in the world. We need every single voice to be heard, and also that you guys can understand what everybody is thinking about. So I've been very connected to Aish for a long time, and this was just a no-brainer for me.
Melinda, you were at the top of my list when we were putting this slate together, and you've been with me. So I remember like when I joined Aish a few years ago, and you just said those kind comments, and you helped us on TikTok in the beginning, and you've just been by our side, and it's just an honor to be by your side now as we move forward with the World Zionist Congress. So if you guys want to help Melinda, the total package of Jewish advocacy, Judaism, and Israel, okay, both, then please, aish.com/vote. Please register so you can find out how you can vote, how you can be a part, and become an ambassador. And Melinda, I love you. Thank you.
Thank you, Melinda.